What's up, everyone? So today I'm going to show you how to turn a couple pieces of scrap wood into a piece of artwork that you can sell for a couple extra bucks in your pocket. Alright, this is how we're going to do it. Now, we've had a lot of other tutorials go up that we walk you step by step by step by step. So we're going to move this one a little bit quicker because if you've been watching the videos, which I'm sure you have, well, this is going to be a little bit easier for you. So basically, I took two pieces of pine scrap wood. They were 6 inches wide. They were 3/4 of an inch thick, and I basically glued them together, and I used a Craig jig to attach them. Now, what we got to do is set up our stock first. You can see the width here is 17 inches long, but instead of cutting on across the line, I cut on the line, so it's a little bit shorter. Here is the width, and then the height is 11 inches. Stock thickness, we're setting that up 3/4 of an inch. We're going to start on the lower left. It is soft wood. We're going to change our retract height to 5 instead of 10. We're going to hit OK. And our shapeoko XXL, that's the machine that we were using. Make sure you set it up for your machine. We're going to hit OK, and that is about it. So now what we need to do is come over and insert our picture. Now, in all the other tutorials, I showed you the Inkscape. I'll put a link in the description below for you. But basically, you find a picture that you want, and you can use this for anything. We're making this sign for a family member. They do a lot of camping. They use an RV. They're always out on the weekends, and they really wanted one of these, so that's why we're making one of these. But you use the Inkscape. You basically find a picture that you want, and you drag it in. We already did that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and in all the other tutorials, I showed you how to do that. Desktop, we're going to go to CNC Designs, and you should be able to find camp. So if you come into camp, you can see it opens up like so. We don't want this, though, so we're going to get rid of that. We're going to clean that up. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to clean that up. And a couple other things here we'll clean up. Over here, over here. Okay, so we're just going to, let me click that again. We're going to delete that. We don't want that. We're going to delete that. We don't want that. There are some things that might transfer over in your picture that you don't want. I'm going to scroll in here because it's a little bit easier to do. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that. We're just deleting those over here, deleting that. And then if you want to get rid of this stuff, you can do that as well. Delete and so on. So we're pretty good here. What we need to do is select all. We're going to hit done. We're going to group these together. Boom. And now if I click on this, hold on. Click. Now if I click on this, they should all pretty much outline themselves, right? If I move one, all of them move. So I am going to move this over here, and now what I want to do is I want to insert a tree. So all I'm going to do is I found a picture online, and I am going to go once again to my desktop. I brought that into the Inkscape. We are going to go tree, and we don't want all of this, so what I'm going to do is click out of that. I am going to left click on this. I'm going to delete it. Then I'm going to bring this down. So let's group these first. You can see they're not grouped. Select them all. I'm just left clicking and dragging. We're going to hit done. We'll hit this right here, and now they should all be in one. We're going to change the size. We're going to click this right here, and we're going to bring this down to maybe a 7. Enter. Way too big. Let's bring this down to a 3. Enter. I think that should be okay. I still think it's a little bit too big. Let's just go down to a solid 3. I think that's okay. We might be able to bring that down. Let's bring it down to a 2. I want it to look like it's sort of behind that there. Okay, so I'm going to scroll in. I'm going to right click. I'm going to drag this down. I got a net flying around me. So now what we need to do, we're going to draw some mountains. So we're going to hit done. And very simple to do. We're going to take this little line here. We're going to put it right there. You can see that little bubble. We're going to left click. We're going to drag it up. We're going to left click and then drag it down. I am not holding the clicker or the mouse while I'm doing this. It does it automatically, so just drag it down. We're going to left click again, Now we're going to drag it over and hit done. And what I want to do here is, you know, we could just go straight up if we wanted to. Let's just do that. We'll just hit unselect. Let's draw another line. We'll just start from here, drag it up. Let's go a little bit higher with this one, and then back down like this. Bring it over, hit done. We'll hit unselect. Now we have to draw some snow caps. So again, we're going to hit this. We're just going to come over here and click this. We go up and then down. We'll hit done. We're going to do it again. Hit unselect. This right here. Go up and then back down. Now sometimes you can't get real close to the edge. Let's hit done. Let's zoom in. We're just going to scroll our wheel. Zoom in. We're going to click this right here and we're going to readjust this here. You don't want to go too far because what will happen is it'll go past that line, and that is not good. So I think that is good. We'll just hit unselect and we are done with that. So now we have to do the lettering, right? So pretty simple to do. Just come over here. You're going to click that little T and we are going to go, we're going to hit the caps locks, THE, we'll hit apply. You see it brought it up right here. Let's just throw that here for a second. We're going to hit unselect. We're going to do another one. And the name on this is STE. Hold on, I gotta look for it again. All right, there it is. So it is STELLATOS. So we're just gonna hit apply. You can see it's down here. Let's bring that up here. And then we are going to go with the saying that they want. So we're gonna hit unselect. We gotta do a new one here. And we're gonna have to do two more. So home is where, oh, I hate when it does. H-E-R-E. Home is where, then we're going to hit apply. Bring this up here. We'll fix all these up here in a bit. Hit unselect. Make another one. It. Alright, so now we're done. We're going to bring this right here. Now we can adjust these to where we want. So we're going to take this. We're going to hit unselect here. We're going to take this and we are going to rotate it. I'm going to say maybe 35 degrees. There you go. We'll bring that over here. We're going to leave that smaller. I sort of like the 1 inch. We're going to make the name larger. So what's nice about this is if you change the width or the height, either one, the other one changes with it. So let's make that let's see, an 8. I think that might be a little bit too big. Let's make it 7. So annoying. Alright, there you go. Okay, we'll change our font. This one right here, because it's a little bit longer, it might stretch out a little bit, so we might have to play with that. But let's go, let's bring this up to maybe a 5. 5. We can actually maybe bring this up to a 6. I think a 6 might be okay. Hit apply. I don't know why it does that. 6. Alright, 6. And then bring this up to a 6. Hit apply. Okay, home is where you park it. See, now this is a little bit bigger. See, that's not what I wanted, so we're going to have to bring this down to maybe a 4.5. 4.5. Apply. It's not, listen, this is not a professional. This is basically your I think I wanted it a 5. This is not a professional program, this Carb I Create. Eventually we're going to go into the VCarb Pro or something, because it does start getting a little bit annoying, but okay. So I think we're good there. Now what we need to do is we need to change the font, because I don't like this. We are going to select all of these, and I'm going to hit Control, and I'm going to left click that. That's how you do that. And we're going to go to Toolpath, and we're going to go to VCarb, and we are going to go Edit. And we're not going to use the 112 bit. We're going to use the 302 90-degree bit. And we're going to change a few things here. We are going to change the feed rate to 70. We'll just go 70. That way you're not taking forever. We don't got all day to do this. The plunge rate, we're going to go 25. And we're going to hit OK. So now what we do, we'll just hit OK here. And we're going to rename this. So you double click this right here. We're going to go Words. And that is it. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do the rest of the stuff. So we're going to come over here, we're going to left click, we're going to drag this down, we're going to select everything, and then we're going to go to contour, we're going to go to edit, we're going to pick our 112-bit, excuse me, we're going to click that here, we're going to bring this up to 70, excuse me, 70, and then 25 right there. We will hit OK. The start depth, we're going to make this 20. Max depth, we're not going anywhere near that deep. We're going to go 080. We're going to go no offset, and we're going to hit OK. So now all of these should have a, let me go to show simulation. This is what we're looking at here. Let me get out of this. We're going to go to Pine, because that's what we're doing. We're going to get this and this. Now you have everything you want. So basically now all you have, and don't worry about this stuff here. For some reason it doesn't fill all of them in, but it will carve that. So don't worry about that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to hit high simulation, and here is a little trick for you. We are going to create 2 tool paths. So the first one here, you got the words. We're not going to do that first. We want to carve everything, and because these are all the same bit and this is a different bit, we're going to right click on words and we're going to hit disable. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hit save G code, and we're going to go camper first run, and we'll save it. Yes. And then now what we can do, if you hit show simulation, you can see that the words will not be carved out. Let's go to hide simulation. We're going to enable this again. Right click, enable. We're going to disable this one here. And now if we go to show simulation, you can see it's just the wording. So let's hide. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. Tis. So we're going to right click and we're going to save that G code. But before we do that, let's double click on this here. We're going to go to words. We're going to go double click. Oh, design. Okay, so this right here, we're going to double click this, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to change the font. Now how you do that, you just go back to the design tab and then just come over here and double click this. You can see this pops up, and then you are going to go to the, I think I like this one down here, the Georgia Italic, and we'll hit unselect. You see it changed. Same thing here. We're going to go Georgia. Actually, you could probably do them all at the same time, but we're not. We're just going to do it this way. Georgia Italic. See it changed. This one right here. Georgia Italic. Right here. And then another one right here. Let's change this as well. Boom. And that's it. So now what we want to do, when we go to toolpath, see the words, so we're going to show simulation again. These will all be hidden, but you can see that you have the fancy wording, and we're going to hide simulation, and we're going to save this G code. So we will just go second run, save, and then yes. Now here is the thing. You have probably already seen the tutorials. You know how to set up the car by motion. I don't want to go through every single thing because people get bored seeing the same thing going slow-mo all the time. So go back and look at those tutorials. If you're not sure how to set up car by motion, I'll put a couple of those on the end screens, or you can check out the playlist, the shapeoko playlist on the TRZ channel. But we're going to move it along now. We already saved our G codes, and now we are going to set it up and run it. All right, we got our 112-bit in right here. We already zeroed it out. It's up and ready to run. Once it's done carving out all it's supposed to do, we're going to change that bit. You can see that in the other tutorials on how to do that easily and quickly. And then we're going to do our lettering. So let's turn her on and get it going. You know, I am truly never not amazed by that router and by this machine. It's just so cool. So now we got this done, and we'll sand this out and it'll look real good. We'll hit it with black. I'll show you all that. But now we gotta change out our bit from the 112 to the V-carve bit, and we're gonna do our wording. And what's nice about this is our zero is basically set, right? All you gotta do is bring it over, change out the bit, bring it down, zero it out again, and then go to town. So let's do it. Now, if you remember, we created two separate G codes. The first one ran this, was the first run, or camper first run, and now this is the camper second run. So all you're gonna do now is the actual wording, the letter carving right this second. Let's turn it on and get it going. All right, time to sand. So I didn't want to go crazy with this. We're just going to blow this out. We're going to hit it with black paint, and then we're going to have to sand it down again anyway. So that's why I didn't go nuts. Let's just blow this out, throw some black paint. We'll move on to the next step. All right, here we go. We're just going to use some regular black spray paint. We're not going to go crazy with this because we don't want to take forever to sand it off. Now, if you all do a lot of crafts or DIY work or painting or whatever, and you use a heat gun, definitely check out the review that we did for this rigid cordless. It's a butane heat gun. No cords, runs off a battery, and it's extremely easy to use. We're going to use this to dry out that paint. Alright, so now all we're going to do is sand this black off, and the black that we painted inside these letters should stay and look really good and should pop really nice. Alright, here comes the fun part. Alright, so now that we blew this off, and if you're wondering what sandpaper we use 60 grit to get the heavy stuff off, and then we hit it with the 120 and then blew it out. We're going to use a stain here, right? And it's just honey. You can use whatever you want. You can use a walnut or whatever. I should be wearing gloves. Can't find them in my mess. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit this really lightly because I don't want this all sinking down too much into this black. And even though it's black, it's not that big of a deal, but we definitely want to make sure that it's not messy. So we're just going to push that in a little bit and then run it up to the edges. Real nice like. Just a little bit more. Let's do this and we'll move it on to the next step. Now what we need to do before we paint is just let this dry up for maybe a half an hour or an hour, depending on what the weather is outside. It's about 85 degrees. Humidity is a little bit high, but I think an hour will be fine, so just let it dry up a little bit. And now all that's left to do is paint. We got some markers here. This is just some paint markers. You can buy at any store. You can even pick them up at Home Depot if you want, Amazon, wherever. I'll leave a link in the description for you, but let's start out with the tree. Now we'll just move it on to the white. We'll just finish this all up. So you can see I got a little bit of a leak coming out of this one here, so I don't want to use this anymore. We're going to move it along and use a different one. All right, all you got to do now is hit it with some protective polyurethane. We're going to go with an oil base. You can go with an interior or an outerior, but because this is probably going to be an outerior, we'll just go with that. And there you go, guys. That is how you turn a piece of scrap wood into a piece of art. Sell for some money if you want. Pretty simple to do. A little time consuming, but hey, at the end of the day, you're making a little extra cash. If you like this video, don't forget to thumbs this video up. Smash that like button. Hit the notification bell while you're at it. Don't forget to subscribe so you see more of these tutorials here. And as always, come say hi to us on the Instagram page at Tool Review Zone. We'll be back with more.